Hudson reached the front door and pushed a small button to the side. "What can I do for you?" It was the most generic question he could ask without giving anything away about what actually happened there. The woman looked straight into the camera with confidence. "I'm here to apply for a job," she said evenly. "I'm sorry, I think you have the wrong place." He let go of the button and watched the monitor, expecting her to walk away. But she remained exactly where she was. "No, I don't. This is where I'm supposed to be. It took a little time to find you, but I did." He tipped his head to the side, studying her through the screen. She couldn't see him, and he had the advantage, but her confidence was throwing him off. He pushed the button again. "We're not hiring at the moment." She nodded as though she expected this. "That's just because you don't know what you're missing yet, but I think the SOS force could use me." Hudson's heart froze for a moment. The conclaves situated around the country all knew about the SOS force. They couldn't be a complete secret, or else no one would ever be able to come to them for help. But for someone to stand right there on the doorstep and announce who they were wasn't something he was comfortable with. He flicked the locks and opened the door. Even that quick action didn't startle her. She looked at him with the same calm visage he'd seen on the monitor, as though she'd been looking at him the entire time. She even gave him a small smile. "Sergeant Leona Kirk, U.S. Army Special Forces." She offered him no salute or handshake, still just standing as calmly as ever on the doorstep. His throat tightened. Hudson felt a twitch at the end of his spine and a tingling on his neck, and he fought the lion inside him that was suddenly so desperate to shift. He had no idea who this woman was, but she was definitely affecting him. He pressed his tongue against the tip of a tooth that was slowly sharpening itself to a point. Hudson glanced around, checking the street outside for any sign of foul play. No one had ever just come up to their building like that, not even someone who was lost and looking for directions. Something had to be off here. The first thing he could do about it was get this woman off the street so he could figure it all out. He held the door open a little wider. "Come in." She did so without hesitation, but Hudson noticed that she quickly took in her surroundings. She was still completely relaxed, at least as far as he could tell, but she was behaving the way anyone who'd been training to head into dangerous territories would. You never let your enemies, or potential enemies, know when you were bothered or by what. And, of course, if she really was with the Special Forces, then heading into a plain concrete building in the nation's capital was pretty tame compared to anything else she'd done. He shut the door behind her. "Would you care to tell me what you're doing here?" Those deep brown eyes met his, and Hudson's stomach turned to liquid. "I already told you. I'm looking for a job." "And just what sort of job do you think you'll get here?" Damn it. This woman was creating the kind of reaction in him that he'd always heard about but never actually experienced. Finding a fated mate was the kind of thing shifters of all kinds spoke of, and he knew from Drake and others that he was close to that it did really happen. But when you hadn't experienced it yourself, it didn't quite seem real. Whoever this woman was, she was proving him wrong without doing anything but showing up. "Hopefully one that's challenging, engaging, and exciting," came her reply. He studied her face, though he was peripherally aware of her entire body. Her blonde hair shimmered with a myriad of gold even under the LED light fixtures. She had it drawn back tightly from her face, but that only served to highlight her astounding cheekbones. The woman was muscular, her strength evident even in her modest clothing of a simple V-neck t-shirt and jeans, but she retained the curves of her gender. He swallowed as yet another shiver of energy rippled over his skin. "As I said, we're not hiring." "I understand," she replied, "and I even understand why you're not willing to admit who you really are. But any place that has this much security has to be housing something pretty important."